She'll be talking with us and be performing live. We've also got brand new videos from Tori, plus new ones from Radiohead, Helium, Salt, Civ, Archers of Loaf, and Self. To keep
in these jeans of his with her name still on it, but I don't care, 'cause sometimes I said sometimes I hear my voice and it's been silent all these years.
Beautiful song that is. Hey, welcome back to 120 Minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield. That's my name, that's right. And sitting next to me is Tori. Tori, how are you? It's great to have you.
That's my name.
Yeah, I know. I love that. It's a good name. And we're going to talk a bit about the new record that Tori has out. It's called Boys for Pele. And what I do want to talk about is this record. You wrote a lot of the songs while you were out on tour for this record, on your last tour. And producing it yourself this time around, after the split between you and Eric, I mean, he was, not only a, personal partner, but he was also really involved in the production of the music. How was that different this time for you?
Well, there were times when I got a little scared, but there were times when I would just look at that harpsichord and I'd look at that piano, and they'd say, "Come on, baby, give us some ass." I'd say, "All right, then. I know how to do this. I think I've known what I hear in my head. It's been there for 30 years, and there were things that I haven't tried before that I really had to try."
Right, and because there's no one looking over your shoulder, tell you this is how you do it, so you can push it to your own limits.
Yeah, I mean, always my other records have been collaborative, and they were great to make. But when you're kind of on your own, it's like being in a Formula One race car, and you're just behind there by yourself, and you're going, "I'm just going to put this pedal down."
And you're in total control, right?
Well, even if you're sliding on the asphalt, there's something very exciting about it, because you just don't know where you're going to go. And I was willing to go wherever that was.
Yeah, and you've taken it there. And we're going to get into some of the songs in a little bit, too, because some great subject matter there and intensity, so I want to talk about those. Right now, though, I hate to break away from Tori, because she's compelling. There's no question about it. But right now, we're going to play a video from a Swedish trio called Salt. They met all while they were attending an art school in Stockholm, Sweden. Their debut album is called Askultate, all right? And this is the first clip off it. It's for a song called Bluster. On 120 Minutes, here's Salt. On 120 Minutes, the band on Matador Records. I'm Matt Pinfield, of course. I'm here with Tori Amos. Tori, the new album. Let's talk a bit about the title, Boys for Pele, the volcano goddess.
Yes.
Tell me a bit about why you decided to call the album that. Because there's a lot of different things and images you can conjure up. Boys for Pele.
Yeah.
Offering the sacrifice of men for the volcanic goddess. I mean, there's a lot
Well,
of...
I did consider it, actually, Matt. There were moments where just pushing them in did enter my mind. But I think that's normal. I think when you're hurt and things are falling apart, and you're having to change what you thought was going to be your life for the rest of your life, there are things that happen. Well, for me anyway, inside myself. And this whole record is a transformation. There is, they're the blood and guts. I'm a little vampire after my boy blood. And then there's a bit of this, and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I have to do my Kiss impression.
Little Gene Simmons tone.
Yeah, a little bit of that. And that's what happens. That's how I make a good soup. There are all these different sides. And Pele represented fire, and I was trying desperately to find my own fire here, instead of needing to take it from the men in my life for whatever reason. I thought I needed to, not as a musician, but for my woman's worth. My worth as a woman was intrinsically tied with how the men in my life saw that.
Right. And speaking of which, there are different images on the album. We're going to get into talking more about the lyrics and when we come back, because there's some things I wanted to ask you about. Maybe you can shed some light from me. I want to just also say real quick, I know we're going to have to break again because of all these quick segments, but seeing you live is always a really personal, compelling experience. And I can say that from your fans' point of view to my own, seeing you, you're really not drawn in. It's just a real personal thing. You could be like in the last row, and you're still feeling, you're feeling all the energies that are coming out of you live when you perform.
Well, what we talked about before, you and me.
Before we got on camera.
Yeah, which is I'm so shy around the cameras. And, the live shows are really like, I try and make them like a fire ceremony, so that when people come, they bring their demons, and they bring what's hidden in their unconscious, and it's a safe place. They're not going to get defecated on. It's a place where we're all letting them be alive.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things coming out, and it's just, we're going to get more into that later. It's great, though. Stick around. We'll be talking more with Tori, of course, and she'll be performing live a little later. And her voice will sound much better than mine does right now.
Let's hope.
It definitely will. I'm sure it will. After the break, we're going to show her her brand new video. First, here's a look at the top 10 singles this week at Alternative Radio. Now you're getting away from that complete emotion in your voice and the vocals of your songs. Welcome back to 120 Minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield. Sitting next to me is, of course, Tori Amos. And Tori, let's talk about the songs on the new record, some of them. Father Lucifer is one track. It's interesting is when you talk about looking and exploring a dark side of life or dark things in your life, people immediately would always think of a reference to what they think is Satan or satanic, as opposed to just exploring. Where were you going with that in the lyrics when you were talking about the sanity of Lucifer?
Well, first of all, the album is really a novel, and it's the descent that this red-headed girl kind of takes, right, to claim her womanhood. And the whole idea that there are things that have been hidden. And I really had to go and visit Lucifer to get my talisman so that I could go and find the Black Widow, so I could go find these parts. It's funny because if you think about, in truth, Christianity, it never passed down a blueprint of the Mary Magdalene. There was the Virgin, there was the Divine Mother, but where was the woman? The woman, just on her own, passion, compassion, wisdom, claiming that dark side, the light side, the shadow, whole. No, there wasn't that passed down. And so I went back to reclaim some of those sides. And Lucifer, I had a nice little cup of tea with him.
Right. And speaking of the religious side of things, Muhammad, my friend, there's a reference to a female God or female Jesus or female...
The female side of God.
Female side of God, which is kind of like you're asking in the lyrics to kind of own up and admit, as opposed to where on God, on the last record, you're talking a bit about. I always felt that it was interesting. You said you need a woman to look after you, so that you can take care of business correctly. I always thought that reference was really interesting. How would you say, talk about the two different issues on both songs?
Well, I was going after the Christian God in God. Because that's definitely patriarchal. I mean, he is a he in Christianity, yes. And Muhammad, my friend, all the religions, they've got the men as the prophets, no differently than the creative forces, the Da Vinci's, the Mozarts, the Newtons. It's always come through the men, and the women have been the muses, or the mothers, or whatever, or carried the prophets. And I just said, this is what, to me, the Holy Grail was. People were looking for the female part of God, the vessel, the womb. In truth, many scholars believe that I've been reading quite a bit. And I said, I had a cup of tea with Lucifer. I need to go have a cup of tea now with Muhammad. And we've got to get this female thing happening in balance. We like the guys. Guys are good. But that's not all there is, you know.
Right, absolutely not. Now, we're going to play the new video for Caught a Light Sneeze. Now, people have been talking about, you know, or I've read that there's references in there to Trent Reznor, who you worked on with Penn, and there's a line in there about made my own pretty hate machine in the lyric as well. Do you want to elaborate on that at all, or would you rather not?
I think, you know, my work speaks for itself. I let people discover what they want in it.
Right.
I've had some wonderful friends influence me, and they show up in the record.
Yeah, I hear that. I can hear that in the lyrics and the songs. We're going to play that first video off the new album right now, Boys for Pele. It's called Caught a Light Sneeze. Here it is on 120 Minutes. Resident alien, Space Hog. In the meantime, the band from England are now living here in New York City. Well, here, maybe that's not where you are, but here we're filming this. I'm Matt. I'm here with Tori Amos on 120 Minutes. The artwork and the imagery that people are going to find when they pick up your new album that goes on sale tomorrow, it's just, there's some amazing stuff, and I have to talk to you about it. The album cover with you sitting in the old chair, kind of like the whole front porch thing. The mud on your feet, like you've been out. The gun, sitting with it, protective, you know, and the hen or cock or whatever you want to call it, hanging up dead.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about that imagery. What made you decide on that for the cover of the album?
Well, to me, it's very much, it depicts the South that I knew growing up. It's a crossroads, this album, and there's the dead cock on my right side and the live snake on my other side. And I think I'm turned around. I think it's my right one. And I know that it's a moment where with the gun, I'm bringing up me and a gun, of course, which is part of the first thing that I ever put out.
Right.
And this whole record claiming my, you know, my past coming full circle.
Yeah.
The things that are the anger that needs to go and get screamed about and then released, and the joy that comes, and it's all in there. And plus, I think I'm Granny Clampett, you know, so
There's that photo.
I have to have my look. But yeah, then on the back, of course, I put the gun down and I'm holding a pig. So yeah, it's full circle. All the artwork, it's the shadow and what's in the consciousness too, yeah.
Yeah, that pig on your breast is a really strong image. And then when there's one inside that they'll see with you, it's like a big gas station scene almost, and your piano is on fire in the middle of it, and you're standing like exposed out in front of it. Not, you know, I mean, you're clothed, but it's like this real feeling of exposure. Also, I just want to say how important and how incredible I think it is, the rape, incest, and abuse network that you've put together in '94. I think it's just a really important and great service.
Well,
I hope
that people are getting something out of it.
I'm sure they are.
I hope that it's helping them. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
It's all about healing. I mean, it's not about we're victims here. I think, you know, people come up to me and go, God, I'm so sorry. That it's like, oh, stop. This is not about I'm so sorry. This is about I am dancing.
That's right.
And I have taught myself with some wonderful teachers and people in my life, and wonderful men in my life as well as women, that have just made me feel free again.
Well, you can definitely sense that, and I think it's a beautiful thing. I want to thank you for the great songs that you've done, and the way you've touched a lot of people's lives and your fans who are just really just over the top by you. And people are going to get to see a live performance in just a couple of minutes and get to feel that themselves. Thank you so much for coming by today. It was just absolutely brilliant. I'm psyched. I want you to know that. It's good to have you. She likes me. See, we're cool. We get along. It's all right. I'm Matt Pinfield. 120 Minutes. We'll see you in just a couple minutes.
You need a woman to look after you. God, sometimes you just don't come through.
Minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield, and I'd like to thank Tori Amos for coming and hanging out and playing for us and talking about her new album. That was really good, and in the next hour, we'll have brand new videos.
This is for Matt. This is Father Lucifer.
Lucifer, you never look so sane. You always did prefer the drizzle to the rain. Tell me that you're still in love with that milkmaid. How the Lizzies, how's your Jesus Christ?